Thank you for purchasing your e-dirt bike from Rosso Motors. You should have received 2 shipments, one box with the unit itself and one box with the batteries. Today we're going to show you how to fully assemble the unit. To begin, we're going to show you the tools we need to do so. Here are the tools we're going to use to assemble our e-dirt bike today. So we have a knife or box cutter just to open the packaging, a 6mm Allen wrench. We do have one on a ratchet just for convenience, any basic one will work. We have a 10mm wrench, a 13mm wrench, and a 17mm wrench, as well as a basic Phillips screwdriver. Now we're going to start unpackaging the unit simply by just cutting the cardboard off the outside of the crate. Next we're going to remove the frame from around the bike. To do so we're going to be using a Phillips screwdriver and a 10mm wrench. So we're going to put the 10mm wrench on the nut on the back and our Phillips screwdriver in the front and simply just unscrew the bolt. Now we're ready to remove the top of the metal crate away from the bike. Next we're going to remove the protective packaging from around the bike. So our first step to assembling the unit itself is going to be to install the handlebar assembly. We're going to simply remove the handlebar clamps with our 6mm Allen wrench. Once we have all 4 bolts removed and the top clamps removed, we're going to line up the handlebars. You'll find grooved lines on your handlebars that fit inside the clamps. Then we're going to simply take the top bracket, put it back on top of the handlebar, and tighten down the bolts. So once we get all 4 of these bolts tightened in loosely by hand, we're going to tighten them down with our Allen wrench. We do want to make sure that you tighten them down evenly so you have an even grasp on the handlebar. So you should have found this brown box in the battery compartment of the bike. Next we're going to go through what's inside this box. So here we're going over the contents of that brown box that we opened up. We have some reflectors for the bike, some nuts to install them, a fuse for the bike as well as a spare, a little toolkit provided. You can build the bike with these tools. We have been using our own just for convenience, and as well as the battery charger to charge the bike. So now we're at the part of the bike where we're going to start installing the battery. So we're going to open up the second shipment that we received with the battery box inside. So now we're going to open up the battery box that we received and show you how to install it the exact way we received it. The batteries are packaged inside a smaller box inside the battery box. Now here's our battery case that we'll be installing inside the bike. So now that we have our battery pack fully unboxed and ready to install on the bike, we're going to start installing the battery procedure. We're going to start that by removing the top battery mount bracket. So we're going to start by removing the top battery mount bracket, which is this piece here. Simply we're going to use our Phillips screwdriver and our 10mm wrench again. So we're going to do the same procedure on the back of the bracket. And pull the bracket right out. So now we're just going to take our battery pack and slide it into the battery case of the bike. So now we're going to take our top bracket that we removed and just reinstall it in the same place it was before. So the procedure is the exact same on the back of the bracket. And once you have the screws on and nuts on, hand tight, you're going to want to tighten them down with your screwdriver and your 10mm wrench. Now that we have our battery installed, we're going to hook it up. We're going to start by installing the fuse into the fuse holder. It's this red box here. You're going to pull the cap off it. You'll see there's 2 prongs down inside that you're going to press your fuse down into. And we just press it down in, reinstall the cap. Then you're going to take the white plug coming out of there and hook it into the one from your harness. Your battery's installed. Now that we have our bike fully assembled, there's just a few things we want to go over before we start riding. So the first thing that we want to check is the front and the rear axle nuts to make sure they're tight on the bike. This is a 17mm wrench. You will have to hold the other side of the front axle, otherwise it'll just spin in circles. So this tool is provided in your toolkit to hold the other side. And just make sure those are snugged up. The procedure is the same on the rear axle. So next we want to adjust the brake levers to make sure they're in a good position that your child can grab them safely. So you simply just loosen the bolt off with your Allen wrench, move the lever around to the great position, and tighten it back down. Next we want to take our ignition key and put it in our governor switch and set it to the proper setting for your child's riding ability. You have first, second, and third. Finally we're going to take our key, go to the other side of the bike, put it in the ignition, and turn it to the on position. And we're ready to ride. As you can see, we have a fully assembled unit now. The procedure shouldn't take more than about 30 minutes to complete. The only thing we have left to do is to remove the front tie wire and the rear tie wire from the wheels, and you're out ready to ride. If you do have any questions while you're building the bike, feel free to contact us, and we're happy to help, and enjoy the ride.